say so right. Buyers are listening.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Hello, my fellow friends, my fellow realtors. This is the Real Stuff Show. I am Augusto Alagia, your anchor host, and here I have a lot of beautiful and amazing people with you. Our featured guest, Megan Probst. No.
It's all right. We're going to get it now.
That's right. You had a 50-50 rule.
I learned a little bit after several times. Summer Swaya.
Yes. There we go.
See, when you make a mistake, Augusto, your accent makes up for it, though. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm trying to learn, man.
I like it.
That's why I created this podcast. I have here Jay Granieri, my partner in crime, and Larry Moscovitz with Windy Law brings some news to us.
How you doing?
And this is the Real Stuff Show, guys. This is a show by realtors to realtors, so you can see a little bit more about the real estate industry, tips and tricks. Today, Megan's gonna share everything about her success, her investments, and where she's developing herself from now on. It's gonna be an amazing show. So I count on you. Stay tuned, and let's start with our news.
Just a little intro to that. There is no fluff and there's no BS in the real stuff here, okay? Just to make sure.
I didn't think
All
so.
right,
You.
all right.
We're right across from each other.
Jay with Vanilla News. What do we have in store for today's topic of conversation?
Okay. So Jay, you wanna announce your vanilla news today? It's not as vanilla as
It's not as vanilla. It's actually very depressing.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's something that we're dealing with, and hence we have the expert on my side here. Insurers slashed Hurricane Ian payouts far below damage estimates. Documents and insiders reveal. There's a cover story here somewhere. Is this fake news or is this real news, Larry?
So, unfortunately, Jay, as a property damage attorney who is in the middle of a Hurricane Ian catastrophic situation on the West Coast, there are a lot of insureds, a lot of homeowners who are really, really suffering. And they're begging the insurance carriers to come help them. And unfortunately, just like everything in life, there's some bad actors out there. And apparently, I'm actually involved in some of this, but apparently what is going on and taking place is the independent adjusters that are coming in from all over the country to help out are getting their estimates slashed by the desk adjusters who represent the insurance companies. Thankfully, our insurance commissioner is got some people together, some investigators to look into this. But, the two sides of the aisle, there are people out there, unfortunately, that like to take advantage of insurance companies and commit insurance fraud. And they belong in prison. And also, there are some people in the insurance industry on the other side of the aisle that apparently are playing the same type of playing by the same type of rules.
Guys, you realtors, how it affects a little bit your business? Do you see, your clients in general, they ask you about insurance, this kind of stuff, or it's not common? People are very dumb in terms of insurance when they're buying their homes. What do you think, Megan?
No, it's the top of the number one question.
Oh, yes?
Because that's throwing them off whether they can afford their mortgage payment. And now with everything going, the flooding that we had, I'm sure you guys talked about that on the last show.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of my clients were affected by that. And now the question when they're looking at properties is, am I in a flood zone? Am I prone to flooding? When they're buying a home, you have the roof. You have the impact windows. What does that look like? And I've had a lot of clients that have been dropped from their insurance.
Do you see a lot of people, Megan, that in your world so you got two types of people, right? The people that are here,
right,
like us.
Right.
And so, are you seeing that people are just caving in, selling their house right away because they're freaked out? Or are you seeing it more on the buy side, people coming into our market, not understanding the landscape of things?
I think it's definitely more the buy side, but a lot of my sellers that have been on the fence and they're living in their dream home and they're getting the letters from their insurance, providers. And they're saying if it goes up to this amount, I mean, we're looking at 30% increase in some cases.
Is that where it's stopping at, Larry?
We don't know. I mean, the recent legislation that has taken place in Florida over the last 6 months should make a difference. Unfortunately, no one in the industry believes that that's going to have any effect in the near future. So, my recommendation to home buyers is before you step out on the ledge to make that decision, along with your real estate agent, you want to be in very close contact with a very experienced insurance agent. And when you're looking at these properties, that has to be your number one goal as to whether or not it's insurable and what the price of that insurance is going to be as you calculate it into the purchase of the house.
Summer, what do you think? What is the takeaway about this? Do you have this experience as well? People is complaining, people is coming to you, or in the level that you sell in your market space, you don't see it?
Yeah, I would say, like she said, it's the most important question that people are asking, especially right now. A lot of first-time home buyers don't really understand the insurance process, and I don't think there's enough resources really in our industry for it. So it's so important to find a professional who can explain it to you. Sometimes buyers are priced out because of insurance, or they don't understand the flood zoning, and they don't understand, what the potential circumstances could be if a hurricane does come in and something does happen. So it's important to explain that. And, the biggest question in Florida you get is, oh my God, what if a hurricane happens? Like, just know that you need to find a professional who can explain it and find a home that fits you without having to worry in the future. Right. Because I think just having to worry about something like that is just, you should be out of the game.
I think more, and I think what I'm seeing more too, I mean, listen, knock on wood. Our hurricanes haven't really impacted us too much on our East Coast side. But what we have seen is king tides. We've seen obviously the flooding from the rains. And then obviously I think the surf side issue with, really neglected deferments of things, which obviously, kind of teeters into your world as well too. On insurability.
Absolutely.
So, and constructional stuff with you, Augusto, with really, I think it's become more complicated for us because now there's so many different levels of things that are happening right now, not just because of a hurricane. We need to know updated codes, assessments are going on.
And if you're considering buying a condominium, you better know what your condominium association looks like on the books, which is always neglected, I find, in the transaction. You want those books opened up. You want to know if there's assessments. You want to know if there's reserves. And you want to know the insurance and the insurability in the of that condominium association. If you're looking to purchase a condominium in a 1970s building, all those issues are going to be staring you right in the face.
Yeah. If Larry, in general, we have the pro segment a little bit after, but because you're talking about this news, I think I will get directly to this, and I would like you to share these 5 most important elements. If you're a home buyer or if you're a realtor, that you're advising your client to look into the insurances and how they can protect themselves.
That's a great question. Here's what's happened. Over the last 5 years, because of what's happened in the insurance markets, the policies have been rewritten and redrafted, and there's been substantial changes to what the actual insurance covers. For instance, water losses used to be unlimited. Now most coverage has a $10,000 cap. So if you have $200,000 cabinets that you're thinking about purchasing in your new home, and you have a water loss, you're going to be capped at $10,000.
Yeah, that's tough.
These are the little nuances that are being put in these policies that home buyers, agents really need to pay attention to.
So current homeowners right now, what do they need to do to make sure that they're protected? Who do they need to talk to?
They need to talk to their agent. They need to talk to a professional like myself. My commercial clients, my HOAs, my condominiums, I give them free legal opinions. On the commercial side of things, all of those policies are surplus lines, which means they have not been approved by the insurance commissioner in Florida. So there is language in those policies that are extremely confusing.
Wow.
And sophisticated.
Exactly.
And I would not rely on an insurance agent or a property manager to give you that legal opinion.
Is there a chance that one of these insurance companies, Larry, can go belly up? So you've got to, obviously there's enormous amount of claims at one time. And
so another great question. So if you have a domestic carrier, that's a carrier that has been approved by the insurance commissioner of Florida, and domestic doesn't mean it means to be a Florida company. It could be State Farm. They've been approved. And if a company like that would go bankrupt, you are protected by the Florida fund, FIGA. However, if you have a surplus line and that surplus line goes out of business, you are not protected at all.
Ooh.
You get zero. So we had about 6 carriers over the last, I think, 2 years that have gone bankrupt. And those carriers will be covered under FIGA if they are domestic carriers. And I believe all of them so far have been domestic carriers. But you don't want to be in that situation. And the best way to protect yourself, it's all public record. You can literally go online and find out what type of reserves and how healthy these companies are before you decide that you're going to pay that large premium to make sure you're covered, when in fact you might be in serious trouble when you pick a carrier that's in serious trouble.
That's amazing. So we just got our pro expert moment in real estate with Larry Moscovitz, Winglaw. Let's go to our next news.
Uplifting news.
Go ahead, vanilla news, Jay.
I know, right? We're all like thinking, we gotta look at our
now I'm a little
policies.
scared. You wouldn't have to know when the next hurricane's coming.
That's
Larry,
why
do you?
I wear the black shirt.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm the executioner
Doom
here.
and gloom to my right. All right. So on the lighter side,
Where I wear pink.
that's
Come
right.
on.
That's right. So American buyers, this I thought was really interesting, Megan, and this probably comes close to home for you. American buyers are not only buying here, but they're buying in other countries abroad as well too. And I know just from personal, information about yourself, Megan, is that you have a little stake in the ground in the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
So, what turned you on to that? And was it something like this that you saw sort of people migrating over to those Caribbean countries?
Yes, I actually just got back. That's why I look a little tan.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Got a little vacation
So sorry. Yeah.
But actually, Dominican Republic I discovered it by pure coincidence. I was going for a wedding, and my background, my father was a real estate developer in Jamaica. I was born in Jamaica.
Cool.
So I was always around development, and then from being an agent here in South Florida, which is like international hub, you and I have been on the board together.
Yep.
And they're always talking about where are the buyers coming from, where are they investing. But Dominican Republic, we all know this, that we have clients that are looking for vacation properties and Airbnb properties. But to buy even in this neighborhood, I mean, it's very expensive, and a lot of the properties require a lot of work. And there's regulations if you want to be in a condo. So when I was visiting Dominican Republic about a year ago, I was looking around, and I entered into the Samana Peninsula. And
Say that again.
The Samana Peninsula.
The Samana
Which just
Peninsula.
sounds
That
beautiful.
sounds so. I'm relaxed now.
Just wait
hearing
till
that.
next year when my Spanish, when I
I
get
love
my
it. I love
Spanish,
it.
like
I
on
love
point. And I looked around and I see the billboards, and you have the motor taxis. They're just trying to sell you properties. And I just did my first walk on the beach, and it was just spectacular.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, like agents do, we started looking online. I'm like, wait, 150,000?
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Wow,
So give me
yeah.
some comparable. So
Yes.
frame it up for me. If you're looking in Fort Lauderdale,
Mhm.
what's the best kind of average cap rate that someone can expect here, probably on a property, income property?
I mean, we're like at 5%.
5%.
Yeah.
5%. What are you getting down in Dominican?
You're over 10. Yeah.
Crazy. Now let's talk about a price point.
It's not just necessarily the cap rate, it's the appreciation.
Sure. Okay.
So
let's talk about
a
that.
year ago, I was looking at a property at 150,000. It's already doubled.
Wow.
To enter into that market, you're at around, I just put a deposit on a property on the beach, 3 bedrooms, 4 baths for $393.
Get out of here.
Wow.
On the beach in Playa Bonita, the
And
best.
where was that again?
It's in Las Terras.
In Las Terras, Playa
Dominican
Bonita. I
Republic.
love it. I love it.
Next to a beach club,
Wow.
next to the new airport that they have right there. It's 15 minutes, and they're going to have a marina and a fishing village and a golf course community coming. So
Wow.
what I love to do is go into emerging markets, markets where I see that potential. It's not the Punta Cana
Yeah.
structure. You're not going to see a Hard Rock there. You're going to see, actually, there's a lot of French who discovered Las Serenas. So you're walking around and you're hearing French, Italian, expats, and then you have that Dominican fusion. So you have food from all over and you're just relaxed. And I think because of COVID, as we all know, people just had a different pace of life and they could work from anywhere.
Right.
So you're seeing that, you know, nomad expat lifestyle, and then you can just work, stop what you're working at 5, if that's even possible for some of us, and then go surfing, kite surfing, you're going.
Do these countries have the regulations that we started to see now being imposed on our cities now with, you know, obviously restrictions on Airbnbs, a lot of the condominiums or, you know,
they're very pro.
Yeah.
It's very flexible.
Really?
You do Airbnb, VRBO. A lot of these communities have their own management firms as well that you can use. And there's developers, they are really promoting outside development. So we've teamed up with a developer from Belgium, for example, and he has properties that he's developed in Marbella, Spain. It's a very international hub. And there's no import taxation. They're giving you the convertor law if your property actually qualifies for it. So that means no transfer tax, no income tax, 15 years deferment. So we don't have the golden visa, which is amazing yet there, but you do have incentives for some of the properties.
Do you think like the access to this is only for wealthy people, or do you think other people like middle class or other people start thinking about it? Because when you go to the news, like the wealthy people, they are looking for buying abroad. Is it something that you see ramping up a little bit in people that is not as?
I think it's actually in the opposite. It's very affordable. You're seeing a lot of families that are buying together. So, you know, I have some friends that are like, you know, we can't afford to put a deposit here on a property, a vacation home. So let's the whole family put down, and you're going to get a beachfront property for say $550,000.
Do they have financing in the Dominican, or is it
they
cash
do
only?
offer financing?
They do.
Yes.
Wow.
The best options we're seeing, you can get 30% down with financing. I would say 50% loan to value, and then you have an incredible property that you can rent Airbnb, and the occupancy is pretty strong.
And do you host us when we go down there? Is that how it works?
Of course.
You
just missed the last retreat. You know,
I'm on a plane tomorrow.
It's so funny. I've been hosting these retreats, and the last one was the largest one I've done so far. It was with people that are so close to me, and after I just had the recap yesterday with a lot of them. And like, I just wanted you to know, like, we weren't even sure what we were doing, but we needed to follow you.
Right.
Like, were we supposed to buy a property?
I was just going to say.
Were we just part of your team?
Right.
Were we just
you all came down to purchase a property, not just a party.
I'm coming.
Right.
Oh, you have to come. It's been such an incredible experience.
That's fun.
Summer, have you had any experience like this abroad?
Yeah. So as she was saying, a lot of people are getting priced out here. So I actually have a friend who just purchased land in Mexico, and it's in a newer developing. It's kind of closer to, it's kind of close to Baja, a little bit Cabo area, but you know, she just couldn't find a place here. We looked for months, priced out everywhere. Also, you know, worried about the market, what's going to happen here. Mm-hmm. And obviously it would have been amazing because everything's going up, but her property has already appreciated.
But in general, they buy it as a secondary home, like investment house or something?
Because we're also working in Tulum, Mexico. Tulum is more of a second home market for sure. But Dominican Republic, there's actually a lot of people.
It's moving.
We're starting a segment, Why Las Serenas? Because you'll look at someone and be like, wait, you just visited and you've been here for how long? 5-10 years. They never left. Wow. They just said, I'm done. And they're living there full time.
Charter schools, things for families.
They have school, school.
So here, guys, if you're a realtor, this is a niche. There's a different niche that you can think. If you think that the United States market is too difficult for you right now, eventually, you know, get to bring people outside the United States or a partnership with people like you.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're paying commission, so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is a way to make some money on the side as well.
Free vacation and commission. I like this. This is great.
Sign me up.
Larry, how about are we investing?
I think he's ready over there.
You need any lawyers over there?
I know. No, seriously. I'm sure they have hurricanes in Dominican as well too, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's very cool. You know, for some time I was thinking about, the Brazilian opportunities as well. But Brazil is not as a secure market in the real estate market, and you have here in the United States. My question for you is, people that they're investing, like if you're investing in Brazil, I cannot guarantee you that your money is going to be there. You know, it's an extremely difficult market. It's extremely difficult to sell there. It's completely different in the United States. Here, you put a house in general, everything is regulated. It's completely different there. How about those countries that we are bringing people in? Do you have a certain type of structure and security for them?
And that's like number one question. I personally wouldn't have invested in both of those markets if that wasn't the case. Dominican Republic, for example, they're a top market economy for tourism. If you look at the stats, they have doubled every single. It's impressive, breaking records of people moving, flying into Dominican Republic. Very strong economy, and they want investment from overseas. It's very similar to here. They're doing the due diligence.
The banking institution's strong.
Yes, exactly. Your money's secure. You know,
do you have American presence in terms of the banking there? No.
They actually, the escrow, who we align with, the escrow companies are actually held here. So I have a bank account down in the Dominican Republic, but your funds are held here during the process. And you do have an instrument of title. So it's very similar to what we're experiencing here in the States. And you have an attorney that goes through all the due diligence, lien searches. I actually had put in an offer on an existing property the first go around, and I ended up not going forward because there was a lien on it from an HOA. It's a little different because you don't have the inspection, the as-is contract. It's what it is. But
take it or leave it.
That's why new construction, in my opinion, is the way to go.
That's cool, guys. So
great.
If you want to know what brought her to be at this point right now, going abroad, you know, overseas, we are going to go to now our next segment is everything about Megan, everything about her background and what she did to be at this point a successful woman, bringing investors everywhere in the world.
Internationally,
you know, and being in the beach and like living this amazing life.
Oh my gosh.
Megan, tell me a little bit more about you, you know, and how brought you to be at this point and this time doing this. You know, you mentioned that you are a daughter of an American guy and a Jamaican girl, right?
Yeah.
So, and you were born in Jamaica, correct?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more. It's why you think you are bringing right now this your legacy, you know, of the beach and all these different feelings you're trying to use right now in advantage?
Well, I think it's funny. I sat down with my sales manager a couple of days ago, and he's he's actually the regional director, Jeff Polishak.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Jeff.
Jeff, we love you. But he's a very, you know, strong personality, doesn't show a lot of emotion all the time. And he walked in and he just said, before you even start, I just want to tell you that I've never seen you so passionate, so happy, so like in your, moment of time. And that's how I feel right now. You know, sometimes it may hit you at different parts of your times in your life. But growing up in the islands, it was always a part of me. And I love to travel. And I never understood how to bring it all together until this moment. So real estate was never at the top of my mind. I always wanted to be an attorney, actually.
Well,
lived in
still have a
Weston.
chance.
Careful what you ask for.
I
You
grew
have to
up
wear
in
a lot of black.
Weston.
I think I would prefer to be you than to be him right now. At this point, with the insurance
she's
problem.
much better looking.
With the, yes, for sure.
That's
Maybe
for
the
sure.
news that you give would be better for Megan. I don't know.
I'd rather look like her as well. All right.
But I was fascinated with it. Grew up in Weston as well. Went to American Heritage. We actually started the pre-law track there, which was it was a lot of fun. And then after,
But you lived in Jamaica, right, for a little while?
no, I did when I was younger.
Yes.
And then moved back for 2 years. My father was always down there.
Always
so
there.
He was always back and forth.
And I
He
think it's
wanted us
important
to be here.
for people to understand this a little bit. Like your father is an entrepreneur. He has a bed and breakfast there.
Yes.
And you have this environment, you know, that you were like dealing with international people, helping people, the hospitality. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Who's your motivator?
Yeah. I definitely think both of my parents.
Okay.
I mean, you said entrepreneur. He was the youngest of 10 from a German-Irish family. And as a hippie in the 70s, he went to Jamaica with a bunch of other hippies.
Never left.
And why would he?
Right,
He was living like a king, you know? Met my mother, fell in love, and he self-taught himself. He was architect and developer for 500 acres of land.
Wow.
And we had a bed and breakfast, so we were always hosting. And for those of you who've been to Jamaica, we had Rick's Cafe, which was in the grill and
Wow.
very famous, rock
The jump.
cliff
jump,
diving. Yeah.
And
So
that's very beautiful because if you see what she's doing right now is like she's bringing people in retreats, you know, bed and breakfast. She's developing, she's making partnerships into the development and real estate. You know, she's bringing a little bit of legacy of her father right now.
Kind of like a full circle.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I think the long term is definitely bringing branded development to Dominican Republic. That's what I would focus on.
You see yourself relocating? Maybe.
My place will be ready in about a year.
Oh.
And I've been down there 7 times in 1 year. So yes,
Yeah.
I think we're going to be officially launching in Dominican Republic.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
That's
Good
the
for
goal.
you.
Yeah, that's
Good for
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Can't wait
But-
to bring all of you.
Oh yeah.
Actually, we're going to go live. What do you mean?
Yeah.
this podcast
There
is
we
going
go.
international.
This is it, baby.
Come
Yes.
on.
Come on. Come on.
100th
We
episode.
bring the podcast there. Why not?
That's awesome.
Yeah, in one of your retreats,
Yeah.
right? Why not?
Yes, let's do it.
So I have a question for you. So, it kind of stems from when we interviewed Summer, and then this piece that we had at the Cinco de Mayo where we talked about adversity,
Mhm.
right? Now, when you hear Summer's story, I feel like she was like the golden child, like she chose where she wanted to be, and where she was exactly where she wanted to be,
Wow.
right? And but we heard a lot of stories at the top producers about struggling moments. A lot of people seem to talk about a time in their life
Mhm.
where they went through something, and that something sort of introduced them to where they are today. So I always say people are challenged in life by either pleasure or pain.
Mm.
And I'm kind of curious about you. You talked about reinventing the legal counsel at American Heritage. It was a very nice, privileged school, and obviously a smart girl to be on the legal side as well too. What was it that kind of challenged you to give up that road and move you into something different than what we're doing today?
Into real estate specifically?
Yeah, or just in life.
I think so I think about this a lot. I'm very blessed that I haven't had I think most recently was when my mother found out she had a brain tumor, and I think that put a lot of things into perspective when you don't. It's kind of like when COVID happened and people didn't slow down and stop and realize that our life here is so limited, right? It's the time is short.
Right.
So stop being afraid and just jump in, go all in. So most recently, that was definitely a very challenging time. We weren't expecting it, but I think a few years ago, I look at it and laugh now because we've all had breakups. We've all had.
Oh no! Don't tell me
situations.
someone broke your heart and that puts you into real estate.
That was a moment in time before I joined Compass that I was living with the person. We were working in new development. I was running his sales and marketing team, and I didn't know what I was going to do at that time because the real estate market was just stale. It really was. If you remember, it was like 6 years ago.
Mhm.
There's nothing fresh. They weren't doing podcasts like this.
Right.
Couldn't really collaborate with people. And I just couldn't get out of bed. I didn't know what direction I wanted to do. And I had a friend, thank God, that was like, I'm sending you a ticket to Thailand. She was living there.
Oh,
And we went to Thailand and Bali, literally like an eat, pray, love situation. And
I just got back.
I love it. I
Did
love
you really?
Yeah, I
love
got
you
back
guys.
from Bali last week.
Are you kidding?
I swear.
You guys are living my best life ever.
Wow.
It is the best.
Oh my God.
It's life-changing.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I came back and I discovered Compass and I jumped in full force because I was like going to start my own brokerage at the time. Like, what am I doing?
Right.
Just doing it to do it. And, since then it's just been, joining a team, starting my own team. And I look around, I'm like, wow, in a year and a half, I have a team of 8. I'm like, where did you guys come from?
That's awesome.
I would like to come back
Yeah.
a little bit because I think it was a little bit of an opportunity too that you got, and then you saw the opportunity to say, oh, why not do this? And you mentioned a little bit the story that you have coming to Florida and helping your sister to, you know, to find her place and then to facilitate the purchase of a condo. Tell us a little bit more about this. And I think it was the first time you get an approach into the real estate market, you know, and you realize that at this moment, why not?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more. How did you realize that for you?
So after high school and going to UCF, I had a legal studies minor and communications major. Always thought I was going to law school. Took the LSATs. My whole family was ready for it, and I woke up and I said, "No."
You want to go into a commission-based only job?
Not for me. Oh, I didn't even get that far yet. I said, "Dad, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an attorney." And he said, "What? You've been studying for this your whole life?" Thank God. Again, hippie father. All right, whatever you want to do. You know, whatever.
Sounds like somebody else's life as well too. I think you guys are like sisters from another family.
I'm like, yeah, that's literally my dad
so
too.
Funny.
Yeah.
So true.
So I packed up my Scion and I drove up to New York. Just me. I could barely like see myself in the side window, and went on to Craigslist and just started looking for jobs. And I was in New York, moved in with my sister. Thank God, she's been amazing. She's taken all of us sisters in at some point in time, and I got connected with a fashion designer at the time in the city. He was a Turkish fashion designer for men's clothing. And I loved it. It taught me how to deal with luxury clients, marketing. We were at the best events in the city.
Oh,
like,
what a great experience.
I mean, we had like Mickey Rourke, John Legend. I was like 22 at the time. Like, I can't even believe this was life. But then after a year and a half and it was a startup, my father was like, "I cannot bankroll you any longer. When are these commissions going to come in for these suits, you know?" And the winter was it was really tough 2 years of winters that we've had back to back there. So my sister, I was visiting home and she said, "Our flight got delayed. I need you to meet the real estate agent," because she was looking for condos in Miami Beach. And I was like, okay. I never experienced being with an agent like that. Honestly, there was no like $1 million. Maybe there was, but like it wasn't a thing. It wasn't
back
like
then.
A hot,
yeah.
You know, like you didn't want to aspire to be an agent at that time. So I connected immediately with that agent, and I was just watching her. I'm like, I can't believe this is a career. And at the end of the day, I'm like, how much do you get paid? Like, how does this even work? You know, like she's like, "I think you'd be great. I think you should get your license. You can get it online. I know you're not here yet."
Oh my gosh, I can be rich in real estate.
Well, it's more than those suits. Okay.
Do you relate to this, Summer? Do you relate to this? Because it's kind of a pretty similar story.
Yeah,
right?
it is a very similar story. I relate the most to the winters. You don't want to go back to that. I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Oh,
so, but yeah, I mean, same thing, because growing up, nobody knew what real estate was, but then you see this like luxury side of it now, and it's like, oh wow, this is the world I want to be in.
Yeah, and like being a father of 2 daughters, I see how important is. For me, it's a lesson that you gave to me, and now you gave it to me. How being supportive, you know, is important to have successful girls like you are, you know, and probably your father is pretty proud of you right now, no?
Yeah.
And that's an interesting question too about success, right? So do you think that, and we talked about this as well too, you know, media glamorizes a lot of things that we do, right? But, you know, behind the scenes, it's a lot of work. And a lot of people, you know, kind of per persona.
Yeah.
Do you have astigmatism? Do you girls think, you know, I mean, listen, you're attractive, you're smart, you're intelligent, and you're successful as well too. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, do you get that from people when you meet them that look to, you know, work with you versus your competitor?
I definitely, in the beginning, that was very challenging. You know, the age was number one. Age, you're a woman. Going against older agents during listing presentations. Thankfully, and that's why I say if you're a new agent, try to be on a team and try to have a mentor who can also be that counterpart to whatever their questions about you and your services would be. But it was tough in the beginning. Now I can choose who I work with, which is incredible.
It's great.
When you get to that point.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
But let me get to an important story of your life that you didn't mention right now, and it's a key of success, right? Everyone, and the show is to find you different ways to get successful in the real estate market, you know? And for you was connecting a little bit your passion to your thing through the yachts and through the like fishing and stuff. For you, it was a little bit different. You found a niche. Like when you start doing brokerage, when you start selling homes, you start going into this specific niche that was the universities, right? And you start developing a book of clientele that until now you're still doing business with them. And now you're getting to a different niche right now, which is the international market. And you're trying to find a little bit a different path for you and to grow a business in a different way. Tell us a little bit more how it was to find this niche. Because it's very similar for another guy here. We have a Prince, and Prince find a niche as well into the university, right? Selling. So tell us a little bit how it was for you, and what was the turning point for you to be successful there.
So again, finding a mentor after I realized that I needed to be physically close to a beach in Florida and moved back here. Again, Craigslist. Found my broker on Craigslist. I don't know what it is now. So my broker, David Gorson, we're still close to this day. Nice. He was a mortgage broker, real estate attorney, and a real estate broker. So and very young. So talk about diversity. No one took him seriously. He looked so young at the time, but we had such a chemistry, and he allowed me to really take what's so beautiful about real estate is that you can make it your own. So we had ideas, and we said, let's go to UM. It's a private school. There's a lot of wealth there, but then there's also a lot of an international network of students. And we said, we already are facilitating the students renting properties, and they're paying a lot of money on rent. Why don't we just have a simple model for these parents to say, listen, your kids are here on average 4 to 8 years. This is what it costs to own a condo. This is what it costs for rent across that spread. What makes more sense? And it brought me all over the world through this experience. We started with just doing an orientation when they allowed it. We had like a little table. We had a little graph we had created. We had little books in the little welcome baskets. And then one sale led to another referral. And we were traveling to Brazil. We traveled to China. We traveled all over. And now I have these kids who are now going to they're attorneys in Miami. They're traveling, they're having kids, getting married, and they're selling their property, and they're saying, I'm so happy that my parents connected with you 12 years ago, because now this money is what's allowing me to start, my next chapter in life. So that was really special looking at it now.
Yeah, that's like a great niche.
And that's what we call like a blue ocean. Again, there's this beautiful book that you find a niche.
Oh yeah,
you need to read this one. Find a niche that is you don't have too much battles there, and can position yourself and be the only fish, the king of this small niche that you have. And it was a very important element for your story, right?
But I think what's really interesting about that too is that you were testing something that at the time you had no idea where it was going to end up at. And I think that's a big challenge I think that we find in this industry as well too. Mentoring agents that are coming into the business, I see that, they see our industry so fast and furious with big sales, and everybody's a luxury agent today. And, there's nothing under $1 million, right? So they're looking at this like, gosh, and then they get in this and it's not happening and everything's digital.
Yes.
So they just think that I can put it on the MLS and blast myself on Facebook and Instagram a few times and TikTok it a little bit. And then the phones are going to ring. Yeah. And I don't necessarily think that happens. And I think people are a little culture shocked by our industry right now. We're getting a ton of, from the board statistics, we're getting tons of people coming into our industry. And, we have 62,000 licensees right now under the Miami Association of Realtors. Yeah. That's just them. And, I think there's a wake-up call happening right now.
Yeah. I agree.
After this, tell us a little bit what gets you to the actual point to be going international. So you have this, and then you have this experience with the university, and then after you get a little bit connected to someone else, and you start in the development, right? And then it led you to the actual point that you are, which is testing and developing this new project. Tell us a little bit this moment of your life.
Now, specifically?
Not now, but
or-
what led you? Because you have this
led me.
moment, like
Yeah.
selling and completely engaged into like being a realtor.
Yes.
And then you start developing a little bit. You start
Yes.
like learning a little bit development
Yeah.
and how to.
Well,
you
like
know.
Jay said, and I think this is the biggest, I guess, issue that I see with agents now is they want it quick. Like I didn't get to this point. The first few years I was doing 10 to 15 rentals a month and running all over the place. Boca, helping my investors. I remember this one time I was like spraying mold on a mold bot. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, like I've done so much, never sleeping, nothing is guaranteed. So for 5 years, it was just building my book of business and actually learning the product. A lot of agents too, I'm like, how long have you been an agent? And you don't even know anything about this building. Like, so for 5 years, it was really learning the buildings, the amenities, which building was financially, healthy, learning who the valet personnel was, and like really getting close with the community. And then I had a point in time where I could partner up with him, or I had an opportunity to come back to Broward and run a sales and marketing firm for a developer. So that's actually what I chose to do. And that's why I'm here. A lot of people are like, you're in Miami. Why'd you leave Miami? So it was a great opportunity to get into new development sales. And I love new development. It's definitely a passion of mine. Being able to see something conceptually and then built, to drive by and say I was part of that, I think that's a beautiful thing. So I did that for 2 years, but I was very, I realized that I'm definitely someone that's on the go. I can't be an in-house agent. It's just not for me. I'm better. I tell developers I'm better on the streets, getting the word out. You know what I mean? So that's when I joined the brokerage I'm at now, Compass. And that was also another startup. I realized in my life that I love startups and I love being part of something and growing it. So I've been with them for 6.5 years now. And I joined a team at the time. There's a generational shift happening in real estate. I don't think we're talking about it enough, but she's now retired and has sold her team. We have a great relationship till this day. But she was so gracious to like allow me to just piggyback on her, the network she had created. So I learned a lot from her, and she also learned a lot from me, there was like a 30-year gap, So things are different. I can only imagine how she felt versus, how I'm feeling,
Right.
wanting things to go a certain way. So I think finding a team is important. But she knew like my brand was growing and I was ready. So when I branched out on my own, I had no idea what it was going to look like. I didn't know. So I didn't really want a big team, but I knew I wanted to work my relationships, and I didn't want it to be like a cold calling. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But for me, I love like that face-to-face, nurturing my contacts. I'm a big gift giver, like it's just a different formula when you're working with cold leads. So it's been, since then, my teams that, like I said, is a team of 8. We operate in Miami and Broward. And my model is a little different. I really want to nurture my agents on my team to build their brand underneath me. I really try and promote them to grow their brand. I support them. It's kind of what I didn't necessarily have when I had my own team. I think to myself, I've been on the flip side. What was missing? So now, in terms of international, I don't think I knew that that's what I needed in my life until now. So, and I love to dance. And I love food. I love to meet people.
Damn.
So like,
Right.
so I'm in Dominican Republic, I'm in Mexico, you have DJs, you have salsa, bachata, you have everything that I could possibly want.
When you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years.
Oh, I've been getting this question a
Oh
lot.
boy.
So it's here, it's there, it's half and half. What do you think? Because it's hard to be developing 2 things in 2 different areas,
Yeah,
and you split it up. Sometimes it like breaks your energy,
definitely.
and you don't do anything right.
Yeah.
Correct. So, and I thought it was very beautiful that you help your guys develop their own brands, which is a little risky in a standpoint, right? Because you help them fly by themselves as well. But it's beautiful because eventually it's why they're with you.
Yeah.
So tell me, 5-10 years.
And to that point, your team members are going to leave one way or another. So if they're happy, and you're happy and they're servicing your clients and they want to be a part of your brand, it doesn't really matter, honestly, in my opinion.
It's a reflection of you and what you did.
Yeah.
That's amazing. If you start your business and your team knowing that they're gonna leave anyways, it's a different approach, right? Because at least you want to have them leave.
They're not leaving.
You're right. Don't plant any seeds, Augusto.
I don't know, guys. We are open a new team. If you want to participate in Real Stuff Podcast,
We're gonna have to sign NDAs.
I know. That's great.
But tell me, 5 years from now, 10 years. Let's push a little bit forward. 10 years from now.
Don't get me wrong. I love the United States. I love South Florida. South Florida is always going to be my base. My family's here. I'm not going anywhere in that regard. But I see myself spending time in multiple places. This is like a discovery phase for me. I'm going to like Marbella, Spain, for example, in July, because there's a lot of development happening there. So if I can have investment properties that are producing money for me and that I can also enjoy at different parts of, in different times of year, and I have a family, we can make it work, then I'm open to it.
Oh, I just heard something that just made me think of it. Then there's always that curveball that can happen in life, which is called a special someone.
Yes.
Or kids, right?
Or kids. Well, we started with special someone, Megan. So let's just talk a little about that. I was waiting for you to kind of settle in.
A special someone is pretty easy to deal with, but if it's compared to kids, right?
That's true. So let's talk a little bit about that. Personally, what is it like? I mean, you've got a lot of hats that you wear.
Yeah.
How do you make time for yourself? And is it a challenge to date in the industry that you're in right now, trying to do so many things that you're doing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just try to entertain one person in every country that we're living in right now.
There's a song about that, but it goes the opposite way.
We never know, like if I was traveling single, why not? Enjoy life.
Oh my God. I think actually, it may be cliche, but like when you actually give yourself self-love, and I think it was 2 months ago from the last retreat in March from DR, I came back and I said, you know what? I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to clear my mind. Hot yoga, work out, get in my like strongest, health that I could be. And I realized it's not, you're carrying yourself no matter where you go, and the right person's going to follow you. What I know is that the person I'm going to date definitely cannot be okay with just staying in one place. So, the closer I get, to settling down, I realize what I don't want. And I do realize that the person is going to be okay with the adventure of life, and they're going to want, and most likely they'll be in real estate.
All right.
That's just the cards that I've dealt. But I think
we're going to have a lot of people getting new license.
I see the phone's ringing right now. I see the phone is ringing.
I want a license.
Send us a message or comment.
Oh my
everybody.
gosh, like Jay were a little worried about the competition. Now he's gonna be crazy. 100,000 more people.
Please marry her and take her to Dominican Republic.
Oh my God.
That's great. I mean, I see. I've known you for a long time, and I've seen us go through our personal lives as well our business lives, and I've always kind of been curious about that. Being I obviously know it from the male perspective, but being powerful women in this industry and what it's what's the struggles and complications of personal and business as well too.
I mean, we work really late.
Yeah,
it's been a problem in my past relationships for sure.
Having to cancel things last minute.
Has this industry caused you problems in relationships?
No, thank God my boyfriend is in medical sales, so his is way more demanding.
Okay.
So his is just as demanding as mine. So we've been able to work it out because I've learned I'm a yes person, and I've learned throughout real estate that I can't be a yes person. I can be a if my schedule allows it person. So that's the one thing that has, I guess, helped us is that before let's do this. And now I'm like, if my schedule allows.
Yeah. You?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
affected me.
Yeah.
No, it's affected me.
She's like, no.
I'm a workaholic, so but it's balance. I'm learning balance now. I think balance is super important. Like you said, having your boundaries.
Yeah.
It's possible. When I look at some people and they're telling me I don't work on the weekends and I shut it off, I said it's just a matter of my efficiency with my time then.
Mhm.
That's the only reason why I can't shut the laptop down and I'm working till 1 a.m. I mean, that's not healthy.
And,
Very honest. I like
You
that.
have an approach right now that you do retreats, and I think you try to bring a little bit the lifestyle into into your sell or your pitch and the entire program or the project that you have going on right now. And it's like a healthy lifestyle, right? So it involves a little bit probably yoga,
Yes.
salsa. Explain to us a little
The
bit more about this.
lifestyle?
Yeah,
Well,
the lifestyle there.
the retreats have been great because it came to a point where I had so many people asking me, what are you doing down there? And I said, I can't explain it. Just come. All you got to do is come. And then they get there. It takes them 24 hours. I'm like, I understand now.
Oh, I love
So we rearrange everything from the airport pickup to the villas. Typically, the villas are the listings of my partner down there. Excuse me. And we have a private chef. Typically, it's all fresh ingredients down there. It's all about sustainable living. That's the direction, and that's what I love about it down there. And then we'll have different excursions, catamaran rides, horseback riding, ATV tours around town. And then we'll do property tours. We have boot camp, yoga, and just swimming. It's amazing. When was the last time you guys went to the beach? Maybe you did.
Like this morning. But not that beach. I'm sure that beach is beautiful. La Sueya, what is it again? La
No, but a lot of people I live here at Victoria Park, and I don't even make it to the beach as often.
Yeah.
So just
we take a lot of things for granted. We do.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. But it is a different lifestyle out there. And it's,
Yeah.
we talked about the keys for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, just different salt life.
slower.
Yeah.
And the dancing. Yeah, we dance.
There's a salsa girl here.
That's great, guys. So now you know everything about her life. And if you want to join her, probably have to get the real estate license.
Gentlemen, you can thank me later.
And now our sponsorship moment, Jay. It was you.
One of my favorite parts of the show is to pay homage to our sponsors.
We have
a very
high production cost.
There's a very high production cost here, and these guests don't come cheap. So I'd like to give a shout out to our Captain Painters. The Captain Painters, one of the things about them that I love the most is that they guarantee their work without taking a single dollar. So my real estate agents out there, if you're looking for a quality painting company, both residential and commercial, check out thecaptainpainters.com and find your painter.
The Captain's Painter. CaptainPainter.com.
So good at that.
Great guys. Great guys.
What are you doing out
I don't know.
Guys, let's go to the next segment. Now, right now, this segment is called The Golden Nuggets of Knowledge.
Oh.
And, Megan is not only this beautiful girl that love the beach. She is a really business oriented. And she's going to share with you how to develop your business in real estate. So she come up with an idea. She loves to do like a business plan. And I don't think... Do you have your business plan for this year, Jerry?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah?
Starts with getting up.
I don't feel very comfortable.
I thought we were bringing them in today.
Shit, I'm not prepared. This is a new segment, by the way. This was kind of not told to me.
Oh my God.
So I will bring this here. So guys, the idea here.
I recognize that.
I
recognize
Do you
that.
have one?
I
You teach this to your
your
younglings? Do you teach this to your?
Yes, we have a business plan, and we meet every quarter to go over that business plan and goal as well too. So,
That's good.
Yeah.
So Megan, tell us a little bit, how do you do this, and what do you have? What is your takeaway about this? And you still apply this to your life or for teams, and how do you approach this?
My team members are probably like, oh, she has to set up the meeting with me,
They love this meeting, by the way.
Yes,
They
the
love it.
quarterly.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important. For the first 5 years, I had no plan. I was just going with it.
I agree.
Like most of us. And then, through different coaching programs, did Tom Ferry, Shira, there was a bunch that I did. And I realized that they're all saying the same thing. and you know what you need to do. So just put it down and make sure you're tracking it. This is a simple one pager. I have a longer one, but I think it's very important in your business to know what your why is, what's your drive. And it's really beautiful when I have a new team member and I onboard them.
So let's question Jay.
Yeah.
Jay, what is your why?
Ooh, I like this.
I love this.
Yes.
So if you have your business plan, what is your why?
Well, I believe that whys change as you go through life, right? So, Megan's in a different spot in her life.
Yeah.
Summer's in a different spot. Larry's in a different spot. My whys changed. At one time, I was much more money motivated, much more, personal growth motivated. When you start having kids, your whys start to change about, showing a legacy and a track record of things that you can do. So
yeah, he is winging. He doesn't have a why in his business plan right now. I would like to see the structural way of your why.
Yeah. My why today is making sure that I provide for my family. That's my why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Driving me to meet my goals. Summer, what is your why today?
It's similar to his, but making sure that I'm comfortable enough to have the future family and to have, the structure in place to have that family in the future.
That's pretty cool. So how people fail in this? Because, everybody knows to do business plan. Let's do business plan. But what is the right way to do this? Because, having a page like this could be extremely good, but sometimes didn't really functions for everyone. Like with your teams, how do you think people fails? And what will be the right tips for people to really, really get the most of a business plan, do you think?
So I do a personality test on all my agents as well. And the group of agents on my team are all different. So there's some that are more task oriented, some that are more emotionally driven. I'll say the more analytical ones are the ones who are like, why do I need to do that? They question everything. And then once they do it, they're like, you know what? That was actually not as bad. And it actually made me think about everything I have in my pipeline, everything that I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I wish I had someone in the beginning that would have intercepted and said, like, you're spending all your time and what's the return on your time here? So I think everyone, once they finish this exercise, whether they're going to be going back to it as much as they are, it's really not so much that. It's more for that mental exercise.
It's fluid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like you said, it changes. My why it's evolved.
And how do you approach this in terms of timeline? Like you do this once in your life, you do this every quarter. How do you do with your teams and how do you make them successful doing that?
We do the business plan once a year, but then quarterly we dive in and we go through like all their financial, where their targets are. But also, what I've realized in the past, a lot of people put too much on their plate. They're like, I want to accomplish all of these different things. And then they end up like, it's like a paralysis. So, this is just like a 2023. You put in your net income and sales volume, average home sales. Many of the agents that join my team from another brokerage or somewhere else, or maybe they're just joining real estate, they don't even know their numbers.
Yeah, that's my most surprising thing is people don't understand really how much they need to make to survive.
Right.
And you start really breaking it down to the taxes, the investment, and what you put in for marketing and what you're left over with.
Right.
People are shocked.
Yeah. Right.
People are shocked.
What is the average investment in marketing if you're a realtor in general?
For me, it's about 15%.
So 15% of all your income
of my revenue. Yeah.
For you, is the same?
Yeah, it's around. Yeah, that's about the same.
It's a standard for the industry.
No, I think it varies across.
But I also, there's also physical marketing too, like taking this
time.
what we're doing today. Like this my time is my money as well too. So if I told you my hourly rate, that would be involved in what we're doing right now.
Because in general, an average business will do like 5% if they're maintaining their business, or 10% if they're growing their business. Like 15% is a lot.
Yeah.
In law, it's much higher.
In law, it's much higher. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Some of the guys I know, 30%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
30% for their gross income to marketing?
In the practice area that I'm in.
That's pretty cool. But, with this business plan, you can put all those numbers together, right? For your teams.
you can bring, so we have a separate marketing plan too, because that's a whole nother, farm area. And depending on what kind of marketing you want to do and type of agent you want to, what kind of agent you want to lead. But this is just more of like your 5 specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goals. And those could also be, a lot of them are fitness related or mental clarity, because this is a very tough career. We don't talk about it enough. And we worked on the board together, and I know many agents who are suffering tremendously because they're not, you have to have a lot of mental fortitude in this career, and nothing's guaranteed. You're not getting a salary, and you're chasing, and the market has shifted a lot here in South Florida. So I think you need to be healthy, number one, mental clarity. And then you need to figure out what it is that you're really trying to, accomplish in your plan.
I feel like when you get into real estate, it's almost like when you sit down with your financial advisor and you kind of work backwards to go forward. Yeah. So you kind of figure out how much it costs to live. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you kind of work into that model of okay, well, this is what I have to make in order to survive. And just so a financial advisor does that as well too. They're like, well, how much does it cost for you to drive, for your kids to go to school, for your car, your this. And they build this whole plan up, and you're like, holy shit, I got to make, over $200,000 a year to really live. Yeah.
Taxes, for example, that's a number one onboarding I do, is I connect them with a tax accountant and structure their company correctly, because a lot of agents, they don't even know the difference between an S Corp and an LLC, and they'll go 6 years without, setting it up. So,
and then you write
that's also part of it. Write-offs.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have to mention a percentage of realtors that are successful, what would be that percentage right now?
Well, I can tell you this percentage just from the board. The average real estate agent makes about $45,000 a year.
Yeah,
that's a pretty staggering number.
Yeah, so they cannot provide.
Are those full-time agents? Because
they're full-time agents.
Those are full-time.
Those are full-time. Yeah. Okay. That's the average. Now I don't know if that's a 1 year average or a 2 year average or what, but that's the come out the gate, average.
Megan, for you, what is the most important element for success in being a realtor?
Consistency and just showing up. You have to have the consistency. No boss is calling you to come into the office. You don't have to clock in at 9, and clock out. I think it's consistency. And again, knowing your why, you have to have passion towards it. And the agents that don't have the passion, you can sense it. Yeah. There's that sense of desperation. They're chasing, so if you want to really be successful and have clients that follow you and that refer you business, you need to have a passion for this. And everyone's passion is different in this career, but I am passionate about it. That is why I think I'm most successful, because I wake up and I put in the time and effort, and I want to share that with other agents. I think being able to mentor is super important.
Yeah, I think the why will help you when you have a very tough moment, right? Because you know where you're gonna go. That's at least what I feel for, my industry.
And this career is, I think, one of the most interesting, because there's no rule of how to do it, and you can take it anywhere.
Yeah. One of the things I love that you said before about this cultural shift in our industry, this gentrification happening. And, when I first started in real estate, I was very intimidated to go to luxury places, because all the luxury agents were just, they all fit the same box. They were very stuffy. They were hard to talk to. Mm-hmm. They're almost very pompous.
Right.
And I'm loving that this new sort of cultural change in our industry is happening, where people are just much more, and they're much more comfortable in their skin. And it's a compliment to you, because since I've known you, you've never changed, which was really cool. I mean, you've changed, but you've changed professionally, but you still maintain you.
Yeah.
And Summer, I doubt seriously you were ever going to change the way you are. So you're amazing.
That's great, guys. The Real Stuff Show. I'm sorry to interrupt, but now we are getting to our last segment. We're going to see
you ready?
The sales skills of Megan against Jay Granieri today. If you're real.
Pull my sleeves up here a little bit.
All this blah, blah, blah that people say, I do this, I'll do that. Now we put on tests to see if they really have this sales skill right now.
Man.
So let me tell you the rules, Megan. Basically, it's this. We're going to run your video, for your listing. and you're gonna sell as a walkthrough to our audience, of course, and it's still a good way for you to do a little bit of advertising for your listing. Good there. Are you ready?
Very pretty. Parkland Bay, by the way. I was just out there all last week showing homes. I should have showed yours. Well, tell me about your price. What do you got over there? I have a buyer.
Are you ready? Ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to one of East Broward's most incredible gated communities of Parkland Bay. This is 12435 South Parkland Bay Trail. This is a 4-bedroom, stunning lakefront home with 3-car garage for you gentlemen.
Love it.
Double doors.
I thought it was 4. No, it was 3 only?
3.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Big 3-car garage, right?
Stop interrupting.
You have a beautiful ranch style home.
Ooh,
Everything has been custom designed.
Love the
My
coffee.
seller might be watching this right now. You have
Look at
an
those
open
ceilings.
format here. I love the gas range that you have here.
Love a waterfall countertop.
Yeah,
Look at that.
gorgeous.
Love
Yes.
that.
Every detail from the panelings. So you have that developer build. She's done everything tastefully from top to bottom. 4 bedrooms, like I mentioned, 4.5 baths with a den as well. I love this. We actually have a Dolphins player actually living there right now.
Is that right?
Yes.
Nice. Nice.
We have a beautiful pedestal tub. This is over 4,000 square feet. The primary room has a beautiful view of the lake. This is the widest lake view as well in
Yeah.
Parkland Bay. Perfect for a family.
One of the newest communities in Parkland.
Yes, one of the newest
Yeah.
communities. They have an incredible clubhouse, which has sports courts, pool, curated events.
No pickleball court, though. I was a little upset about that.
Beautiful laundry here. And of course, this
Wow.
There's the
incredible,
money shot right there.
expansive
There it
pool
is.
deck
Look at
with
that.
a wide view of the lake.
Insane.
Beautiful.
Insane. Look at that
And,
pool.
I
Beautiful
mean,
pool.
At night or day, it's absolutely stunning. Turnkey, ready to move in, 2.55.
2.55? It's a great price.
Yes.
It's a great price.
We'll have an open house next
I
weekend.
love it.
Ooh,
I love it.
that is beautiful.
That's great. That's great. Now it's Jay.
So this is my
Uh-oh.
house. These guys are playing basketball in front of it.
That's gonna be tough to beat.
That's gonna be a tough
It's gonna
one.
be tough to beat.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
Mine is lower production for sure. I'm going to be talking about one of my team members' listings for our team here.
Where's yours?
Ours is in Meisner Preserve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Taking
it's-
us a little further north.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
Oh.
nice. So we're kind of on the fringe between Delray and Boca. It's actually Delray address.
That market is.
Yeah, it's really nice. Everybody seems to be moving out, making that migration out west now.
Yeah.
Further west. I think that's, obviously we're kind of landlocked in Broward. So Palm Beach has a little bit more space to go out.
Mhm.
And so there's still some communities that are able to.
But we're all Fort Lauderdale here, right?
We are.
Oh, and you too.
Yeah.
Fiesta.
Oh, yeah.
Fiesta.
So we're selling West Side, baby. Selling the West Side. It's all good though. It's where everybody's migrating to, especially for the families or the bigger bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jay, are you ready?
Look at this.
Go,
This is
go,
look at this
go.
high production right here. So this house boasts over 3,000 square feet. It is a ranch style home with 12 to 15 foot ceilings there. This is the master bedroom as you walk in. I love this. It's an entry master suite. Double door entries both in the master and into the bathroom. And this actually leads you out to the backyard as
Ooh,
well.
beautiful windows.
Yes. So it's a newer community in Meisner Preserve, as I mentioned before, between Boca and Delray. It's in the Delray address zip code. This is a really cute backyard area. It does have enough room for a pool. It's been measured out and the survey proves it. Great floor to ceiling windows as well too that surround the back as well, which I love. There's a little peekaboo here going into the main room. So check out the main area here too. Nice space, very entertaining, open, lots of light coming in through here. I like this because it actually has an office that's off this little front sitting area rooms as well too. It's really nicely decorated and styled.
Ceiling.
Yeah, the ceilings are pretty.
Windows.
This is the office area here. It's lays in the front. So it's a 4-bedroom. So you've got the two off to the side, the master, and then the office as well
love
too.
that.
Sorry,
That's
3 off to
fun.
the side.
Wallpaper.
Yeah. So these 2 bedrooms here stack on the side with the laundry area too. All the beds in these rooms are king size beds, so plenty of space.
There you are.
There I am right there. Hi,
Hey.
me.
Oh, hey.
There I am. As you,
was his production.
I like the 8-foot high ceilings. The doorways as well too. These are solid core doors too, so they're very sound and great marble floors. It just totally like reflects the lighting of there as well too. Gated community, just like Megan's as well. Not as lush with the high amenity style of what Parkland Bay has, but it has a great clubhouse. And a pool area as well too that comes with it. The one thing about here is that with the membership fee, you do not have to pay a golf membership, which means the membership fees are awful low too, which is nice. So some of the gated places in Boca require pretty hefty membership dues. So.
That's great. Now let's judge who is the winner. Larry,
quality
with Windlaw.
I know, right? My high production there.
As your sponsor moment.
I'd have
That's
to
not
say,
part of my 15% marketing
going
dues.
with Megan. Yeah.
Megan.
I'll give Megan as well too.
Jay's not giving us the price of the house. The sticker price.
How much is the price?
1.3. It's a little
hard to buy a house when you don't know how much it costs, Jay.
1.3.
There you go.
Price per square foot, we're doing pretty good though.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay, guys, this is the Real Stuff Show. Please give us our last words. How it was a show for you and how to find you. Let's start with you, Summer.
Megan, I've been a fan for a while. You are amazing. And it is so nice to hear your story and how you've evolved. And I'm so excited for your move to Dominican.
Larry.
I love the energy.
Yeah.
Definitely top-notch salespeople here. And you really know your business and you can tell your passion for what you do. It's really important.
How you find you, Larry?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
WindyLaw.com, Larry Moskowitz, PA. That's where we're at. We've been in Fort Lauderdale for over 30 years.
That's great.
We handle cases all over the state of Florida and nationally.
Good to have a guy like Larry on your side.
Yeah.
Summer, how can we find you?
Instagram at summersawaya.realestate for my professional page, or just Summer Sawaya for my fun page.
Or floating in the ocean somewhere.
Or I'll be in the ocean, either one. So can't contact me then.
Jay, your takeaway and how you find you.
You know what? I mean, for me, this is all about you. So I love the time I get to spend with friends of mine in the industry. And also learning from you and sharing it with everybody else too. So we really appreciate you coming on board here and sharing your story with The Real Stuff.
Great.
And please tell everybody else about it. And we'd love to know somebody that you'd like to recommend for our show as well too. Easy to find me while I'm here every Thursday at 4 p.m. live with my boy Augusto. And you can also see me as Ask Jay Granieri in Instagram. So there you go.
Megan, tell me a little bit more how to find you and your projects. And please, now it's your time.
I'm very active on Instagram. It's Megan Probst _compass. Website's theprobstgroup.com. I want to tell you, thank you so much for doing this. This is actually my first organized podcast.
Stop it.
Yes.
You're professional.
I'm like, wow.
You never forget your first, Megan. Never forget your first.
This is really nice. Getting to know you all and connecting again.
Yeah.
It's sometimes we need this hour where we're sitting and we're actually focused on one another. So cool. I appreciate it.
It's pretty cool, guys. This is the Real Stuff. And then if you can see her in person, it's amazing energy, how beautiful it is, this person here. So find her, Megan. And if you want to follow us, please subscribe. The Real Stuff Show, please share this. We need more people to be connecting. We want the Realtors to be collaborating. I'm Augusto Alagia, your anchor host, and we make this possible for you. So see you soon, The Real Stuff Show.
Great job, Megan. Great job.
Yeah, that was awesome.